It has been 3 years since the prophethood. For so many days, the beloved Prophet kept giving invitations individually. Then Allah commanded, Muhammad should not be afraid of anyone, but openly preach the religion and fearlessly deliver the Lord's message. And start this work first with your brothers and relatives. And if some of the ignorant do not believe, then even a little don't care. After receiving this order, Muhammad stopped going out. All the time, he stayed at home and thought what to do, and how to explain to the family. This was not something that would remain hidden. Within a few days, it spread to all the loved ones and relatives, and it was discussed everywhere. The aunts heard that, so they were very afraid and worried. So they all came to him and said, Dear Muhammad, tell us, what's going on? Why did you stop leaving the house? Muhammad said, What can I tell you, aunts? There is a great burden on me, and I'm being weighed down by it. Look, on the one hand, our people do not believe in God, and on the other hand, they also worship idols. Will they please God in this way? Then added, No, it is a disaster. So I have to warn them and tell them to stop their actions. But I don't understand what to do. I come to invite everyone to a meal and then warn them of disobedience to Allah. The aunt said, What's wrong? Make an invitation. But look, don't invite Uncle Abu Lahab. He won't listen to you until he dies. Muhammad immediately arranged for a meal and invited all the relatives to the meal. Among others, Abu Lahab was also invited. Although the aunts forbade him, and Muhammad himself knew that he was his great enemy and jealoused of everything, and always ready to oppose. Many people came to the feast. All participated in eating and drinking. Among them were Muhammad's uncles, cousins, and all were relatives. Muhammad sat there and he kept waiting for everyone to finish eating. Then he spoke and invited Islam. Abu Lahab thought, This is a great opportunity. Muhammad has left the religion of his fathers and invented a new religion. Let's intimidate him. Incidentally, all people are also present. It will be good. Thinking this, he immediately stood up and said, Muhammad, they are your uncle and cousins. Look, there you say what pleases them. This has been bothering. You say, Father, grandfather's religion is wrong, and a new religion has come out. So stop doing such things. You have brought such trouble to your brothers. Yes, remember this too, that your people are nothing compared to the rest of the Arabs. Now if you don't give up your actions, then the brothers will have the right to catch you and imprison you. But it is not acceptable that the Quraysh should be hostile to you, and then the whole Arab will also support them. The beloved Prophet very much wanted to say something. He should tell people the message of God and warn them of disobedience to God, and tell them what evils they have. But Abu Lahab did not give him a chance. Inciting the people, Abu Lahab then said, This is a very bad thing. People, stop him now. Why are you waiting for others to take it? At that time, you will be in a lot of trouble. If you hand over, then you will be humiliated and disgraced forever. And if you support, you will be killed. Muhammad had a paternal aunt, Safiya. She was also there. Hearing all this, she became eager and said, My brother, aren't you ashamed that you are opposing your nephew? By God, people in the know have been saying for a long time that there will be a prophet in every sense. Listen, he is the prophet. Abu Lahab, laughing loudly, said, What about you? Put bangles on your hands and sit in the house. If the Quraysh became enemies and started war with us, and then other tribes also supported them, then what will happen? They will crush us like ants. Now Abu Talib said, As long as there is life, we will support him. Abu Lahab said, Brothers, come on, get out of here. It is not right to stay here now. So everyone got up and left, and Muhammad could not convey his message. After that, Muhammad once again arranged a feast and invited the family members to eat again. Then, when the people had eaten and drunk, the message of the Lord was conveyed. Muhammad said, "A seer does not lie to his loved ones. By God, I may lie to strangers, but I cannot lie to you. Even if I deceive others but not you, God knows that I am his messenger. Listen, no one in Arabia has brought you anything better than me. I have brought it. The Lord has ordered me to call you in this direction. Is there anyone who will support me in this work and keep it after me?" Then Muhammad became silent and began to look at the faces of the people, that whose heart was inclined towards faith, whose heart opened to Islam and who decided to support the truth. But no sound came from any side. Some people thought he was crazy and started staring at Muhammad's face, and some people turned away in disgust and decided to walk away. Just then, a boy stood up. He was about 12, 13 years old. The body is also the same, small height, thin body. But he was very brave, very brave. He stood up and said, "Messenger of Allah, I will support you. I will help you." What a strange sight it was. Hearing these words of the boy, many became uncontrollable and the silent atmosphere echoed with the sounds of laughter. Then they hurt and said, "Why, Abu Talib? Now will you follow the nephew or the son?" In this way, the second assembly was also dismissed, but the result of these efforts was nothing. But still Muhammad was not disappointed and continued to work with full zeal. It's a matter of a day. Muhammad climbed the hill of Safa and cried out in pained voice, "Qurayshi brothers! Qurayshi brothers!" People were startled. "Hey brother, whose voice is this?" Then in a short time all the people gathered and eagerly asked, "What is the matter, brother? What is the matter?" Muhammad said, "You people, tell me this. If I say that an army wants to come out from the foot of this mountain, will you believe it?" People said, "Yes, yes, certainly. There is no reason not to believe. We have never heard lies from you." Muhammad said, "My dear fellows, I scare you with a severe punishment, which is in front of you. I see it like the other side of this mountain. Qurayshi brothers, beware of God's wrath, and protect yourself from fire. If Allah gets angry and wants to throw you into the fire, I will not be able to save you. There is only one way to avoid the fire. That is to believe in Allah and accept me as the messenger of Allah." It was to hear that Abu Lahab's face turned red with anger. So he immediately stood up and shouted, "Damn you! That's why you called." Seeing this, Muhammad fell into silence and looked at his uncle with great regret, wishing that he would remain silent for a while, and that he could speak in front of the people, be able to invite them to the true religion, and convey the Lord's message to them. But Abu Lahab did not feel any pity, and his manner became more severe, and he continued to abuse Muhammad. Finally, people left there. Someone would say, "Brother, Abdul Muttalib's young man talks to the sky." Someone would say, "He asks us to worship him, whom we cannot see or hear." It has been a long time since Islam raised its voice. The beloved Prophet used to come to his home with his followers, or went to Arqam. He used to recite verses of the Quran to them there. Those who were illiterate would listen to them many times to remember well. And those who were literate, they would have written down the verses, then remember, reminding the children and the other new Muslims. Gradually Islam spread and Muslims continued to grow. But the polytheists continued to ignore it as a joke. This is a serious threat. They were not ready to believe this either. They kept thinking that they are crazy. Who should mess with them? They were thinking that these people are mad on Muhammad and have abandoned their religion in this way. But it is not compatible. It's only 2 days after that. All of them will fly away, and sooner or later, they will take refuge in national religion. It is about those days that one day some polytheists were in the Kaaba and were prostrating the idols, when by chance the Holy Prophet passed by. He felt great pity for them. Also, the idea came to mind that somehow this work should be stopped, and they should be saved from humiliation. So he said, "People of Quraysh, you have completely deviated from the religion of Father Ibrahim. You worship these lowly idols and associate them with Allah. Tell me, how displeased will Allah be with you?" The polytheists were very displeased, and they started arguing, saying, "We don't worship the idols a little. In fact, we love Allah and desire to be close to Him. These are just intermediate relations." Muhammad said, "If you want Allah, then listen to me. Allah will also want you." It was heard that they became angry and spoke among themselves. "His words have disturbed us. How long will it be tolerated? We kept silent that it has become so stupid that it has hurt our minds and misled even our ancestors and not even our gods." Then they all got up and left, but their eyes were very red and very angry. Now wherever was looked, Muhammad was the topic of conversation. Someone was making plans to persecute, and someone was busy threatening. All the polytheist chiefs sat together and began to consult among themselves. "Muhammad is abusing the gods. What is to be done about him? How can we get rid of him? Does Muhammad insult the gods? The gods who are our gods? Does Muhammad consider us fools, who invites us to leave the idols? The idols for which people come from all corners of Arabia. We prostrate and circumambulate them like the Kaaba. Does he want the whole of Arabia to curse us? Or he wants that every tribe should boycott us and stop coming here, and all the trade will stop? And do we miss the grain?" For a long time, things continued like this. Then it was decided that some people should go to Abu Talib and complain to him about his nephew. That forbade Muhammad not to say anything to us, nor to our gods. Neither he has anything to do with our religion, nor we with his religion. So some of the leaders of Quraysh went to Abu Talib, and they were Abu Sufyan, son of Harab, Utbah, son of Rabia, Walid, son of Mughira, Azaz, son of Wail, and Umro, son of Hisham. Yes, the same Umro, whose surname was Abu al-Haq, and who is known as Abu Jahl. All of them went to Abu Talib and put their words before him. Abu Talib also loved them, talked very gently and somehow understood and put them back. In the same way, the days passed and the beloved Prophet continued to prevent polytheism and idolatry and encourage the worship of Allah alone, until a group of Muslims became one. Now the polytheists should be very afraid that if Muhammad succeeds and his religion spreads, and the word of Islam is raised everywhere, then what will happen? Then we will be in trouble. The dear country will be desolate and all our business will come to a standstill. So this is not correct. Now a blunt decision must be made. After thinking this, they came to Abu Talib and said, "Abu Talib, you are our elder. You are dear to us from the heart and soul. Please do justice in the case of your nephew. Tell him not to speak ill of our gods. Don't make a mistake in our religion, and don't call our ancestors astray. After all, you are also disgusted by his words. You will also get placidity." Nothing happened by Abu Talib. Coercively he called Muhammad. When Muhammad came, he said, "Nephew, these are the wealthy and chief people of the nation. They have complained against you. You should not say anything to their gods, nor should they say anything to you and your God." Muhammad said, "Uncle, shall I stop calling them to what is better for them?" Abu Talib said, "What is that?" Muhammad said, "Say this only one phrase with your tongue. If they agree, then the whole of Arabia will become their slave." Abu Jahl shouted loudly, "By your father, what phrase is that? Hear from us 10 phrases like it." Muhammad said, "Say, there is no God but Allah." Hearing this, Everyone was shocked and faces turned red with anger. And the next turned with hatred and went on saying, "Well, look, what kind of soil we plow now." Muhammad's message was spreading rapidly, and the righteous element of society was gathering around him. Seeing this, the leaders of polytheism were very angry. Worshipping only Allah was utter libeling idolatry. The honor of Islam was a disgrace to infidels, and the exaltation of Muslims was a threat to infidels. So the disbelievers were furious. They were completely fired up and swore, "Now, we are bare swords to Muhammad. We will persecute him wherever we find him. We will wound the body and pierce the soul, and his religion will be deleted." So they incited their poets and rascals against Muhammad. Now they used to abuse Muhammad, slander him. They used to ridicule him in poems, spread suspicions against him among people, and attacked his intellect and intentions. Someone would say, "He is a magician." Some said, "He has the influence of magic." And some said, "He has the greediness of fame." One day some polytheist leaders gathered in the Kaaba and spoke about Muhammad. "Hey, Muhammad says that we will die. Then we will be resurrected and will give an account of our feet. Good deeds will be rewarded well, and bad deeds will be rewarded badly. If you do good deeds, then you will go to heaven, and if you do bad things, you will go to hell." Then they thought that they should call Muhammad and have some discussions. If he is true in what he says, then he will take the argument. And if he is a liar and only claims, then we have the right to persecute him as much as we want, and no one will have the right to blame, and not the right to investigate us. So they immediately ran a man to Muhammad. When the man arrived, Muhammad got some hope from them. He thought that perhaps the truth had been revealed to them, and perhaps now they would believe. Thinking of this, he hurried towards them. But there was something else. There were the same heartbreaking things. Those were the signs of stubbornness and hatred. They said, "We do not know that there has been any such person in Arabia who has harassed his people like you. You have made a defect in our religion. You have cursed our gods. You have thrown mud on our ancestors. What did you do? You have distributed the whole nation, what you left behind. But we are still ready to give you wealth, honor, and fame. If you desire wealth, then tell us that we will heap wealth at your feet. If you desire fame, then tell us that we will make you our leader. And if there is a mental illness, or its influence, let us arrange the best treatment. The treatment will be yours. The money will be ours." There was a great attack on Muhammad's intellect and intention. So Muhammad was very sad. He said, "There is no such complaint in me. I have no desire for riches or wealth, nor lust for fame or kingship. I am the messenger of Allah. He has sent me to shock you from negligence of evil. I will tell you the good news and the good end of the good deeds, and if you want, I will meet you with the Lord." What effect did these things have on them? The vein of ignorance flared up, and there was an uproar among them. Now everything that came in the mouth started to sell. So someone said, "Ask your Lord to make a spring flow for us, a spring sweeter than Zamzam, and which has rivers flowing in Syria and Iraq. Make us here too." Someone said, "If you are a prophet, ask your Lord to keep you in gardens and palaces, and give you many treasures of gold and silver, so that you can live a life of luxury. Why do you go to the markets for sustenance like us?" Someone said, "There is a man in Yamama, Reman, who teaches you all these things." Then listen, we never believe in Reman, and if not, then ascend to heaven before us, and bring a scripture from there, which we also read. Someone said, "The angels are the daughters of Allah. They are the ones we worship. Now if you bring Allah and the angels before us, or if you tear the sky to pieces and make it fall on us, we will believe in you. Let us also see what kind of punishment these threats are." Muhammad said, "Glory be to my Lord. Am I anything but a prophet? Allah said, Blessed is he who, if he wills, can give you better things than this. If want, give you gardens under which rivers flow. And if want, give you many palaces. Those people said, Muhammad, how many things have we put in front of you? But you have not listened to one of them. How many wishes we have asked of you? But you have rejected them all. Listen, now we have the right to be with you, as we want. Remember, we will kill you. Now either you stay or we do. And now they have decided to kill Muhammad, a very final and firm decision. But if Muhammad was killed, what will happen to Abu Talib and progeny of Muttalib? These people are the leaders and government of Quraysh. What will happen after them? As soon as this idea came to them, their courage started to respond and all their morale went down. But yes, there is a form. A plan should be made so that Muhammad falls from Abu Talib's sight, or at least his heart becomes dull that we kill Muhammad. So he remains silent. So they thought a lot. For many days, finally the wisdom of these fools suggested, take a young man to Abu Talib. A young man who is known for his strength and bravery, and who is also the king of beauty in the world. Then tell him to give his nephew and replace him with this young man. The Quraysh were very engrossed in this moronic plan of theirs. So they came to Abu Talib and brought a young man with them, a young man named Walid bin Amara, and said, Abu Talib, this is Amara's son Walid. He is the bravest and most powerful young man of Quraysh, and then the king of beauty's world. From today he is your son. He will give you the right advice in every matter and your hand in everything. You should keep him and give Muhammad to us in exchange for his story, even though he has carried a temptation and scattered the whole nation. Yes, and then you're getting an even better man. Such idiotic things of the wise people of the nation. Such strange and illogical things. Abu Talib was stunned. For some time he stared at them in surprise, then said, "Oh, insane people! What a bad deal you are making. I will keep your son with me and give to you, my beloved nephew, to kill him. By God, this will not happen until the day of resurrection." Matam, the son of Adi, who was among the chiefs of Quraysh, said, "By God, Abu Talib!" The nation was very fair, and made 1,000,000 efforts so that there would be no scandal. But I see that you are not ready to accept anything. Abu Talib said, "By God, I have not been treated in the slightest. In fact, you have decided to disgrace me. You will continue to incite people against me. So go, do what you want." The people said, "We have not done any injustice to you, nor to your nephew. We have repeatedly told you to stop him from these acts, but you never stopped. Listen, now, if he took the name of the gods or said something to the elders, or attacked our intellect, it will not be tolerated. Now there are only two situations: either you explain and shut his mouth, or else we will fight with him and with you, and with everyone who supports you, either you or us." Then saying this, the people left. Because the matter was hard and the occasion was very critical, Abu Talib was very sad, and this open challenge of the nation and family tore his heart. It is not a good idea to take the enmity of the nation, and it is also not good to leave the nephew helpless. It was a strange conflict and a very severe trial. So Abu Talib's head bowed and he began to think, "What shall I do? Abu Talib, what will you do now? Will you make your nephew a morsel of oppressors, or will you fight for his life?" It was a decisive hour, and the world was waiting to see what happens. Finally, Abu Talib decided to call Muhammad and somehow stop him from preaching Islam. This preaching was the cause of the enmity of the nation. He had torn the unity of the Quraysh and destroyed the palace of their glory. So Muhammad came to his uncle. The uncle narrated the whole story and also told the challenge of Quraysh. Then he said, "My dear, have mercy on yourself and on my life. Do not burden me so much that I cannot support it. It was a decisive hour, and once again the world was waiting for what happens now. Does Muhammad turn away from the call of the Lord and respond to the call of his uncle? Does Muhammad leave the truth and turn away from the religion of Islam? Does the world now shine with the light of faith, or does the darkness of disbelief remain? Muhammad made the same decision, which was the decision of his Lord. Muhammad liked what God himself liked. So he said with full determination and courage, "Uncle, by God, if these people put the sun on my right hand and the moon on my left hand, and tell me to leave this job, it is impossible. Either this job will be completed, or my life will be end in this way. Allah, this is the power of truth, and the greatness of faith, this inner strength and the greatness of the soul." Muhammad was with great truth. He had to live for the truth, and he had to die for the truth. Now the uncle looked at the nephew with great surprise and wonder. His determination and courage greatly impressed him, and he fell into deep thought. This tune of purpose and dedication to work. What troubles will come in this way? He doesn't care. What will the nation do? No worries about that. Then Muhammad got up from his uncle and left. He wanted to stop, but tears came from his eyes and his heart stirred. He thought, what will happen now? Now the uncle has also turned his back. His determination and courage have also weakened. He has now decided to leave me helpless. The uncle, who always held me close to his heart. Today, in the storm of troubles, he left him alone. Muhammad had not gone far when his uncle called out, "Nephew, just listen." So then he came to his uncle. The uncle said, "Nephew, go and say whatever your heart desires. As long as I am alive, I am with you." When he heard these words from his uncle, his face lit up with joy, and a new enthusiasm and excitement began to surge in his heart. Anger appeared on the face of polytheists. Let it coming. We will continue to fight with our lives in this way, and spread the light of Islam in the whole world. This was Muhammad's determination, and this was Muhammad's motivation. Now the uncle started getting ready to help his nephew, and decided to prepare the family for him as well. Everyone in the family, except Abu Lahab, encouraged Abu Talib and promised to help him. Now the Quraysh became vociferous in their opposition to Muhammad, and new tricks were devised to frustrate the preaching. Also, they inflicted such cruelty on Muhammad that God's refuge, the earth shook and the sky shook, that these oppressors did not have any mercy. Then this thing was not limited to Muhammad, they also subjected his colleagues to cruelty. But the beloved Prophet and his companions endured everything,